You know, no matter what was going on, and a lot going on today, I had to come out and support this gentleman here. He has supported events. I'm actually the co-founder of the Anansi Festival, which is a kids festival, the Island Space. Big up Island Space. Give Island Space a big shout out. I'm the co-founder of the Anansi Festival. And Malachi, year after year, plays Brother Anansi all the time, and he does a fabulous job doing that. I also want to give a shout out to my fervent brothers. I have two fervent brothers here from Jamaica College. I want to give a shout out to this one especially though, because he was at the first, one of the book readings at the first Anansi Festival, and actually wrote a book. Because of the Anansi Festival, he wrote a book. Anyway, this is all about Malachi. And so we're here for his book, his new book, his book of poems. We love his poems. And I want you, I'm not going to introduce him just yet. We have a few people here. Protocols followed. I would let the CG acknowledge all the VIPs because I don't know all of them. But so if you're a VIP, everybody here is a VIP. But there's some that are VIPs that I will let the Consul General acknowledge. But before we start, is there Pastor Donald, who I believe is Malachi's brother. I haven't met you in person. Can you please come up and give us a word of prayer as we open this book signing?
My God, let us pray. Our God and our Father, we give you praise, we give you glory, we give you honor. We invite your presence to be with us, Lord, as we celebrate, as we come together. We are your children. We invite your presence. We pray, God, that you will be glorified this afternoon and that your people will be here rejoicing. Bless this festival now, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to call a man that needs no real introduction here. Accolades galore, one of our favorites here. Where are you going? Where are you going, sir? Okay. At this time, the Consul General, Mr. Oliver Mayer. The man who taught me everything about MCing.
That, come here, hold on, come on. That was a thank you, a greeting. Ask them to do it again, go on again.
At this time, we are going to welcome the Consul General of Jamaica to the Southeast region, Mr. Oliver Mayer. You're not coming to the club real loud, don't you?
Thank you very much. Thank you. I never expected it at all. Never expected it at all. You guys surprise me every time. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming. Please turn to the person beside you and say, "I'm glad to see you." And even if it's you, carry them here and then make you a drive, it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we do this every month. We have a distinguished lecture series from the consulate. I think this is now our second year having the series. And we have the best of the best that come here to present. If this is your first time coming to the lecture series, just could you raise your hand at this time? Can we give them a round of applause? In church we used to sing, "There's a welcome here." You know that? Welcome here. So I want to welcome you all and just know that your names have been added to our mailing list. So you will hear about all the lectures that take place. And we do have the finest who come and join us. We cover all various topics. I want to thank Xavier for stepping up today to be our MC. We have Island Space as our partner, and every event we have here, we do it in partnership with Island Space. I'm going to invite Khalid. Before I do any sort of other pleasantries, I want to invite Khalid just to say a few words on behalf of Island Space, and then we're going to recognize some folks.
Thank you so much, CG Mayor. Good afternoon, you stole my thing about who's the first time here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Khalid. I forgive you, don't let it happen again. Good evening, everyone. My name is Khalid Thompson. I am one of the co-founders. Hi, sorry. I haven't seen Basil in a long time. I'm one of the co-founders and the current executive director here at Island Space. We are the first and only Pan-Caribbean Heritage Museum in the world. So you don't go, for the first timers, you don't go anywhere else and see Jamaica and Haiti and Cuba and Trinidad all in one place. Right? We're the only one. And as I was talking to my friend Colin Smith over here, who just came back from Ghana with a whole, troop of Talawa and Louise Bennett and all of the wonderful folks who represent Jamaican culture, there's so much that needs to be preserved that we are not doing a good job of preserving. Even us here, we want to have the resources to do it. You know what's going on with the government and the arts and the diversity, and they don't really want it. That's what we want to do here. That's what we aim to do. We do our festivals and our fun things and our lectures, but we are able to do what we do because of having the resources to do it, right? We want to do more. I just talked to Colin about recording the Talawas and making sure that you don't go online and look for mental music and you're not finding it in HD. You see some little old grainy things from 1970, however long, but you're not seeing it in a way that we can, kind of internalize and see the reality of what things are. Malachi as a spoken word. I'm in America too long, as a dub poet, right? Malachi as a dub poet is doing something that I grew up seeing as a little girl, and you come here, you don't see it unless Malachi is doing it, you're not seeing it. So I appreciate him for doing all that he does with the museum and at the museum. Where did he go? There you are, signing books. I appreciate him for that. I big him up for that. He was part of Reggae Genealogy a few years ago, and we did the first one, and brought that authentic dub poeticism to the performance, and we appreciate whatever. I don't know what he's going to do tonight, but I'm sure it's going to blow us all away. All of that said, this is the kind of work that we preserve at Island Space, as well as doing things like the Mango Festival and the Rum Cake Festival that's coming up on November 16th and all these wonderful things. And if it's your first time, we want to invite you back. If it's not your first time, we know you're already part of the family and are here every single time, right, Kenneth? Right, Marlene, right, Colin, right, Commissioner John T, right? We welcome you to the Island Space family. We hope you continue to be a part of the Island Space family. Keep coming back every month and every time something else is going on. Please consider membership. If it's not your first time here, you know I'm going to ask you for some money before you leave. That's what I do. That's how we keep the lights on and bills paid, right? So we pass a hat and we do what we call a cultural tithe. But I'm asking you to go one step further this evening. Even if it is $10 a month, I'm asking you to go to islandspacefl.org/membership and do your membership. $10 a month, 25, whatever. I prefer the hundreds and the 50s, of course. But if $10 a month is what you can do, please do it today. We are in a pinch, in a pickle because of what we've lost, and we want to make sure that we can continue doing this important work. So thank you, Mr. CG, for giving me the microphone. Thank you, Xavier, Malachi, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to recognize there's a particular reggae group in here. We have to know our history. And when we talk about pioneering work in reggae music, we have to recognize when they're pioneering work, who do you think we should recognize? the pioneers. And they are here. They have done a lot to establish reggae music around the world. In fact, they're always touring. I think they just came back from the UK. I want to ask Mr. Rob Spence and Jackie Robinson just to stand so we can recognize them. Give them a big round of applause. Reggae legends in the house. Reggae legends. I've been training them for years. I'm so proud of them. Another gentleman who I've been training for many years since I came in the community to ensure that he has the right moves and grooves to move the people. He took notes and decided that he was going to enter politics. And when he went to the polls, the people said yes. They didn't say A, they didn't say B, they didn't say C. They said John T. Welcome, Commissioner John T. to come and say a few words at this time. Newly minted Commissioner in Lauderhill. Proud of you, sir.
Thank you so much, CJ. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. This is a very special event for me, and I'm so happy to see my good friend from the Pioneers, Jackie Robinson. I wonder how many of you know about songs that were done by the Pioneers some years ago. Who can tell me one of the popular songs? If you're interested in horse race, you should know, you know. What? Long shot, kick the bucket, for Rama says, I was Pioneers. Good to see you, Jackie. Welcome back. And a special welcome back to the folks who came from the big continent. We're the 54 countries in Africa. African visitors, welcome back. I know that you must have done a lot for Jamaica over there, made us really proud. No doubt. You tried. Ladies and gentlemen, I've known Malachi Smith for over 40 years. And proud to say that we have been colleagues in various areas. We first met at the Halfway Tree CIB, because we both were detectives at the time in Jamaica. And then we are here in Florida, and he's also my colleague in broadcasting. I'm so proud that when I was campaigning, he was the one who sat in for me and made me really, really proud. Because after the campaign, you know when you're campaigning, you're not allowed to be on the air. But Malachi did an excellent job, and I want you to put your hands together for him for what you have to do. You know, he is a big-time dog boy, which he started in Jamaica, by the way. Yes, he started in Jamaica and made us proud, because while he was at the Halfway Tree CIB, they would steal away the evening time and go to classes as a dog poet and learning the tricks and the trade in that area. But he has won himself a number of awards, and I'm so proud to call him my friend and colleague. So for me, it's a very special moment for me to be here this evening for the book signing. Ladies and gentlemen, good to be here. Thank you so much.
All right, at this time, I want to welcome Curtis Myrie, who is going to give us a quick review on the book.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. Need a little more. Wait. A little more calmly dumpling. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. Poetry can be described as the caption for the photos taken by our very spirit, which will bring us closer this evening to defining what the internationally acclaimed Malachi Smith has reconstructed of the Japanese literary art form haiku in his impressive publication, Tamako. Haiku, for those in the know and for the curiosity to be cultivated, was a short form of poetry originating in Japan that traditionally consisted of 3 phrases and initially was an opening part of the larger Japanese genre of poetry, with this opening stanza over time becoming a standalone poem, as other adjustments to construct were to follow. Longer poems were also produced. Jamaica by Malachi Smith therefore represents all that's idiomatic about the Jamaican experience, and is poetry, rocky and rhythmic, in shutter-click photographic images of what's colorful and captivating. What's graphic from the pages of luring photos and piercing poetry, published by Independent Voices and available on Amazon, will leave you glued to this collection, prompting you to read and read and read all over again. You will not put it down, because it's how you keep being particularly moved by Malachi, the hypnotic sway of virtually each line of proverb and social commentary. You're pulled, stirred from the very first piece, arise. Planes are flying high. The garden is filled with cries. Why are you sleeping? Shake up yourself. Now you are wide awake to what will continue to appealingly unfold about the provocative issues of life. What keeps being stormy at your doorsteps, to even what's spicy and seductive. Yeah, man, I'm Malachi there to know. Let's take Aki, black eyes, cheesy body, makes you desire saltfish, your favorite man. And I can hear a humming from the male section of that famous Calypsonian. Commissioner, be yourself. Then there is guava from the collection. Her roots medicine unclog your cluttered heartaches. She spreads just for you. Wipe that smile off your face. It's guava we're talking about. It is guava we're talking about. Fruit, full, ripe, and open. Consul General, please. In this publication, there are pieces that are extended notes, required pit stops along this reflective journey, arguably for a deeper inward stretch. In the first verse of One Day, Malachi writes, I vision a nation, youths on ghetto steps, happy, content, craving poetry instead of guns, on zinc fence belly, playing with live words and not dead-end bullets. That's the type of inward stretch, enabling greater outward reach to address the social boil more so within given troubled inner city belts. An appeal for more creative expressions as critical tool to the relationship resolutions we seek. And we're affirming Edwin. As the slang says, we have to cross it. It's a thought that keeps weighing on you as you absorb the piece, flat bridge, trod careful over. My undercurrents are deep. Secrets, charm, bone, history. Jamako, Malachi Smith, enjoy and engage the mysteries. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. So, without further ado, let's welcome Malachi Smith to the Consul General's lecture series. Malachi, we want to sell like a dance and thing come up here, you know, a big series this thing, and you know when you see the Jennifer Hudson show and them come up and them look, you came back from Ghana, right? Yeah. So you're supposed to learn a couple of the moves there, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out to this historic book launch. Jamako and selected poems, right? I see so many wonderful friends here that my heart is filled with love and gratitude. I'm indeed humbled and honored. And so my good friend Janty, here from after 3 days. Jeffrey Phil, Professor Jeffrey Phil. This man always writing about Garvey, always saying something positive about Garvey. Give it up for Jeffrey Phil. Yeah. And he has a serious channel online that every day he posts something positive from Garvey's message. Of course, we have Dr. Vassal and his beautiful wife, Mena, who they just took us to Panafest in Ghana. Give it up for them. We're cut a wampus time, as Miss Lou would say, right? And yes, we really did. It's the type of trip. Hi, Marie. It's the type of journey, pilgrimage that you should all make, if it's even once in your lifetime. Don't go there for any fandango. Just go there and go and stand in those places that your ancestors stood in. I mean, when you go in a dungeon and you see the floor and it is black as midnight, and you realize that you're standing on the fluids and the flesh and all of those things from years of your ancestors, they were actually there. And the earth that's there, because we're shown another cell that they had cleaned, so you could actually see the difference. The DNA is there. Pieces of them are there. It's a type of experience. So you want to do that at least once in your lifetime. Just as the Muslim go to Mecca, you need to go to Ghana and Nigeria to kind of touch base with your past. Powerful experience. And of course, we have work to do. Hi, Louis Bennett Heritage Council. Of course, styling is coming up. And make sure you get a ticket for that. Colin Smith, look up yourself. So, I'm going to deliberately do this poem. Let's see if we take off my jacket. Yeah? I don't have my jacket too much. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm so important, man. I got somebody taking up. It looks like I should be running for some office in Jamaica, right, John? And this poem is titled Homecoming, that I wrote specifically for the trip to Ghana. And so far, it has won one award. I packed my suitcase with tears to come home to you, Mama. I am no poorer. It's been 400 years since I was torn from your arms and cast into hell, into the belly of ships, into cane fields, into cotton plantation, into biting cold and scorching sun, into starless night, into the abyss of enslavement, into a world without windows. My scars are still raw and full of pus. I am here for you to bathe me, for you to cleanse me with your healing balm, to reassemble my scattered pieces, for I have been like a tree without roots, walking for 400 years in this wilderness. Mama, the West stripped me, shaved my beard, shaved my head. I don't remember my name. I don't remember my name. I don't remember my name. They severed my tongue and buried it and forced theirs on me. They said that you're a savage. Your offspring are savages. I am a savage and only their gods can save me. When I refused their communion, they burned me at the stake. And when I refused to sing their song, they hung me like food from tree and let birds feed on my flesh. They broke my will, Mama. They broke my legs, said I could never walk again. I could never run again. I could never fly again, but I refused to die, Mama, and I am back. Blacker than when I left, stronger. I have returned with the wind in my sail. I skipped bail. Mama, look at my face. There are rivers running beneath my skin. Read my eyes, there are stories I'm telling. Listen to my heart, it kept your rhythm. It is your heartbeat. Feel my bones, there are rocks on Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Afidjato. My blood is water from the Volta. Feed me, foo, feed me, Mama, feed me, Mama, feed me, Mama. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm tired. I come to you to remember self, make me whole again. Ya Ashanti Wa, Kwame and Kuma, Joseph Dakwa, Tonka Manin, Ase Tutu, Nana Prempe, lay your hands upon my head. I have returned from the land of the dead. Thank you. So that was a little warm-up poem. And I would also like to say a big shout out to one of my former supervisors before I became a supervisor in Miami Police Department, Bert Gonzalez. Thank you so much for coming. And his lovely wife over here. Great guy, great guy. No, I did it. I remember becoming an honors student at Miami College, right? And of course, they had a scholarship, big scholarship for the student who really mastered anthropology, like the teacher thing like sex in a skeleton, for real, So you could actually know the difference between a male and a female skeleton, stuff like that. And the professor said, oh, this man is so great and all of that. Well, before the semester ended, he gave a Spanish guy the scholarship. And I'm like, but this guy is not doing the type of work that I'm doing in this class. Didn't make sense. Anyway, at the end of the semester, they actually came to me and apologized. I said, Malachi, you were the best student in my class, and I'm so sorry about what I did. But that is that. But one thing that came out of that class more than anything is this poem that I wrote, One Population. I was thinking about us and even going back to Ghana and see what we have been through, because some white-faced people believe that we're not human beings. Straight up. No if and about it. Right? But we know through the sciences and anthropology in particular that the test of the human species is its ability, follow me, to produce viable offspring. Right? So if you're not of the same genetic material, you cannot produce an offspring that can reproduce itself. Did you know that? That's why the mule cannot reproduce itself. It's not the same genetic material as the donkey or the horse. So it comes at a cross in between. So I wrote this little poem, and I'm going to share it with you, and then we jump in Jamaica and selected poems. This is empirical verification that all man is one. Race is a political construction. One blood, one population. Come for a lesson in anthropology. This is a science, it's not a mystery. In the beginning, there was Lucy. I hope so far you are following me. The Garden of Eden was all you forgot. Carbon dating is not a fraud. in the heart of Mama Africa, in the country of Ethiopia, Louis and Mary Leakey discovered the Australopithecus family. Call it creation, call it evolution, any terminology that will help you understand that all in all, we are one. One blood, one population. Let me touch on how color came. This is a product of sunstone and wind. When man wandered across ice bridge, some to the tropics, others to the fridge, from Africa to Asia to North and South America and even land down under, talking about the Aborigines from Australia. Afarensis, Africanus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapien, we're still treading. Genetic drift, genetic slope, natural selection, adaptation, mutation, evolution. That's why all of them look like one. Paleocene, Eocene, Oligocene, Miocene, Gregor Mendel, laws of heredity, Watson and Crick DNA theory, carbon dating, amino acid racemization, electronic spin resonance are all proof in abundance. So back off with your fallacy of racial and cultural superiority. This is empirical verification that all man is one. Race is a political construction. One blood, one population. Black, white, red, yellow, gray, green, and all shades in between. We are all one. One blood, one population. Thank you. And of course, at the end of the reading, we'll engage in some conversation and you can ask all the questions that you want, right? Now I embarked on the Jamaku and selected poem journey because of that man right over there, Jeffrey Phil. Jeffrey was always sharing haikus online. And we know that the haiku came out of the Japanese tradition, genre, and it usually is the first stanza in a poem, the beginning of a poem, and all of that good stuff. But it had certain principles to it, like we know that it is 17 syllables, right? 5 by 7 by 5, and all of that. We know that it has to be written in present tense, and it's usually about nature, right? But we Jamaicans, we are rebels, right? And as Miss Lou said, we colonization in reverse. We change, we don't just accept things. And I think that one of the things that I got from that trip to Africa more than anything else is how much we who have left can help them. Because we don't just accept the status quo. We challenge it. And that is exactly what I've attempted to do and hopefully successfully in Jamaku. I didn't think that you could write a 575 line and couldn't talk about my people's history. Couldn't talk about the lynching tree, which I'm going to share with you. And there's a church in Davie. It's a church that's owned by Jamaica. As a matter of fact, the minister said that he got a vision to go look for this particular church. And he ended up buying it. Well, in this churchyard is a tree. And that tree, there are still the lynching ropes. This is in the churchyard, that's what I'm telling you. The ropes that used to lynch our people, they are still there. And that tree is protected by the state. They have like 3 different experts that go every year and they inspect the tree and make sure that there aren't any parasites, stuff like that, and it's well protected. But things like that, you have to see, and I actually have a picture of it and a poem about it. I was just thinking about it today, I wonder how many people they hung on that tree. You know, but it's right in Davie, so you can go there one day and look at it. And when you get the book, you'll see it. And I'm going to begin by reading the poem. And it ties in right into the narrative of going to God. The lynching tree. Time tries to mask my story, fails as barks, thick-skinned grapes where strange fruits are. And that's the point, right? So even though time has passed, the ropes are still there, and nothing can mask the hurt and the pain and the suffering that actually took place on that tree. Now I'm going to read the dream. And this poem I wrote on the 70th anniversary of the University of the West Indies. And it's proudly hanging somewhere at the University of the West Indies. Actually won a gold medal too. This university started out as a medical school for those who don't know. UWI actually started out as a medical school. And the aqueducts that are there used to be supply water to the plantation, because that whole area was a huge plantation too for slaves. Again, it sort of ties into the old narrative. A dream begins with humble expectation. 33 visionaries on his back on a plateau, beneath his feet in the arms of mountains, sons and daughters of Hippocrates took oaths to heal as they listened to the heartbeat of islands and vowed to find cures for scattered rocks with little medicine and no shelter from the sun. For the herd from flames of rebellion left pains and scarred bones, the call for healers answered at Mona, where dream gathers his children in 1948 and began to climb into thinkers who grew beards into waves that roared and splashed like the sea. Masters as wise as Socrates drew beads of philosophy into reels of literature, narrative of T. John and his brothers. The dream and monkey mountain spoke, and the dance of tongues begins into movement across space and time. The movement, the singing, the students, now masters of Pythagoras, calculated the arc of the dream and built it. And the children of the wave, like sea turtles, abandoned the federal maple and the palm, began to climb in time slowly at first until they discovered their new legs and leapt face to face with the cloud, masters of their own destiny, islands, smash shades, the new nations built upon rocks on the back, from the sweat, from the bowels, the dream becomes reality, and the reality dreams of becoming a new dreams of the waters of the aqueduct to follow the river of knowledge that lies in the head. First it was the house of Windsor, Alice, then Wooing and Lewis, Ramphal, Alien, Bermudez, royal white Indian black colors of the dream that is now you and I, sons and daughters of Africans with flags held high at Mona, Cave Hill, St. Augustine, and open doors built by colonial hands for our future to pass through. For we must bake the bread and multiply it. To feed the mouth of hunger rocks, we must build our roads to drive to the temple. We must litigate for the sufferer in the frame, create eyes for him to see the heavens, ears for him to hear the new roar of the sea, and cup this in his hand and celebrate 18 tongues as one, walk on the footstep of gods until they own the sun. Arthur, Walter, Walcott, Kamau, Eric, Rex, Mervyn, Lana, Dennis, echo in the bone to flesh, for the dream belongs to the mountain top. Thank you. Oh, this is one of my favorites. I'm a very mischievous person. Did you know that? You know that, right? So when I was in Poetry Note, I gave the most trouble. Bert, you would know that. I'm a big time troublemaker. But I'm also very quiet, right? And I'm also a very humble person. But just think about panga nuts, right? You ever open my panga nuts? And look inside, right? How sensuous it is. Yeah? No, just think about panga nuts. How beautiful it is, right? Her pink ovaries are pearls for your tongue to pick. And Nancy love me. You didn't get it? Wow. You don't know that Hannah's enough sweetness. All right, moving right along. Why are you laughing? I need to share. So Curtis read. I like the garden of hope, and I'm going to share it. Why? Hope gardens mean so much to most of us, right? Let me see the hands of those who have got lost in that maze at Hope Garden. Wow. Okay. Let me see the hands of those who have ever steal that kiss in Hope Garden. Oh, go on. We need not go any further, right? Thank you. So this poem was written for the 150th anniversary of Hope Garden. It is here we come from the heat of the city, beneath the brow of Jack's Hill, at the foot of Papine, in the lap of Sago Palms, to heal and bond. To drink from the aqueduct and touch history's ugly memories of slavery. The sugar plantation is gone, but the DNA of the enslaved lives on in this royal space of Cassia Siami Grove, Bougainvillea Walk, Orchid House, and Cacti Garden, with secrets wrapped around the roots of banyans, where the hurt of the past is now a flower, providing sweet nectar for hummingbirds and working bumblebees. We come to the Garden of Hope to find love under the shaving bush tree, to listen to bird songs and listen gentle streams and let gentle streams fiddle and caress our hurts, to catch fireflies summer nights and lazy autumn evenings. It is here time stops and we discover anew what is life, what is beauty, what is power, how small we are. Laughter, follies, get lost in a maze, steal a kiss and look up at the night sky and count a million stars, dream in their arms and fall in love all over again. In this secret garden of secrets, where the past nourishes the present, where the safari finds Eden and gives birth to roars and hiss and mystique, danger and safety, night and day, and this 100-acre spread. It is here we lay our beds. It's all we have left, Hope Gardens. I want to find a poem. Oh yeah, here we go. Flatbridge. Okay, we know that Flatbridge was built somewhere around 1774, right? They're not really sure, but 1774 is around the era when it was built, right? And why Flatbridge was built is that you had 6 plantations in that area, and so they needed to traverse the river. And so what they did is that from each plantation, for every 50 slaves you had to donate 1 to work on the project of building that bridge. And for those of you who don't know, many of our foreparents died constructing that flat bridge. And we know it goes. A lot of people tend to crash and fall over there and drown. For real. True bird, no joke. You know, flat bridge is like a special place. As a matter of fact, before we read the poem, I remember an incident where, when I was a young police officer in Montego Bay, I happened to be in a minibus heading from Montego Bay to Kingston. And when we got to Flatbridge, the driver knew that I was a police officer. And what he did was drove down on this other vehicle in the middle of the bridge. So nobody could pass, you know? And I just said, listen man, back up this and now I will arrest you, you know? And people say, yes, you're right, boss. So he had to, you know? So that was my Flatbridge moment. But a lot of people drowned there. A lot of vehicles have crashed and gone over there. So it says, trod carefully over. My undercurrents are deep. Secrets, Charms, Bone, History. Check out Flatbread. And we know that on the 17th of this month was Garvey's birthday, right? Give it up for Garvey. And when we went to Acid Manso, which is very interesting. This is one of the places you have to go to when you go to Ghana, right? Just think about it. This is where the slaves took their last bath before they were marched back through the hills to the castles and then onto the ship to the Caribbean and the Americas and Brazil, right? And of course, there are pictures of Garvey there. Yes, clap him, man. There's a nice picture of Garvey. And there are three, yes, Nanny. Yeah, there are three graves there of enslaved persons. One from America who actually served in the armed forces, who they returned his remains there. And very interesting, there is Crystal, who was enslaved in Jamaica. But when she left Ghana, right, listen to this, she decided that she wasn't gonna stay in slavery, period. So she would not eat, and when the food fed her, she would regurgitate, and she basically told them that she wants to be returned to Ghana to be interned. So Crystal was one of the persons who is actually buried there. They dug up her remains in St. Anne and through DNA testing, because she actually told people the story. So the story kept on going down, where she was buried and that she wanted to return to God. So they were able, the Jamaican government was able to do some DNA testing on her remains and found the relatives in Ghana, and her body is actually lying there. Clap her, clap her. Right. You know? But when I think of Garvey though, and I look at our continent, right? Ghana is one of the richest places in the world. Okay, you know that? Gold, all kind of things. The place is so rich, right? But they just can't seem to get it together. And I wonder, I often wonder, more so now than before, why our people did not listen to Garvey. You know? Garvey was telling them. Right, Mr. Bennett? Garvey had the prescription, the remedy. Garvey was asking them on his trip back from Panama and Central America, and was saying, where is your great men, your statesmen? Where is your army? You know, where is your navy? Garvey was actually telling them, yo, Ghana, Nigeria, build up your armed forces. Be prepared to defend your resources and your people and your continent. They were not listening, right? So we have to respect that man. So I'm going to read this poem. One day, I vision a nation, youths, and get us step, happy, content, carving poetry instead of guns and zinc fence belly, playing with live words and not dead-end bullets. I vision youths sculpturing poems and barren mountainsides. Let them glow like meteorites across the sky, so the path down to the gully and every dark corner will be painted with light. On riverbanks, pumpkins, beans, sprouts, sweet potato, ginger, papayas, mango, melon, fruits growing wild, no hunger belly child. I vision a nation, youths owning Garvey, proud of the beauty of self-purpose, our prophet's vision, usurping guns. Youths rise, rise, walk in a new direction, out of many, one. Thank you. I'm going to read one more, and then we can, I think I'm going to do a performance piece. It's kind of weird not to really perform for you, right? And this is another of my gold medal pieces. Daddy, where are you? And I must say, I must thank Christine Craig, because after she read it, Jamaku, she was like, Malachi, put some poem in there different from the haikus and the Jamakus. And so I put a number of poems in the collection. Daddy, where are you? My eyes have grown full as the moon over Arakabessa Bay on a summer night as I fish this ocean that I have sailed for 20-something years in search of you. The silence speaks to me, monologues long as the bay, stirs the blue water and sweeps the black sun up to my feet, to the door of my heart and breaks in. Daddy, where are you? To see the haze pupils of your little girl's eyes, glazed as brandy in a gold-rimmed glass where the ice has melted and dripped to the sand. Where's your footprint? Where's your hand to wipe clear the mist, to lead the way across the bay? Thank you. So I'm gonna do one dub piece for you. One of my favorite poems. I remember performing it just prior to leaving Jamaica. Marlon, come here. Listen. I have two sons. This is the youngest of the two. The older is away. Give it up for Marlon. Awesome sound engineer. Right? So I did this poem at Ednaman, the College of the Visual and Performing Arts. And the speaker at the event at the time was Pernell Charles. And while he was speaking, he said, "Where's Malachi?" And I stood up and he said, "Wherever you go in the world, you should never stop writing and performing." So I'm going to share it with you. When there was election season in Jamaica. Hi, Joan, that's my little sister Joan down there. She's so beautiful. Stand up, please. Let people see her. My beautiful sister Joan. And in front there is my aunt Marcia. So this poem is titled One Way, and it's on the Middle Passage album, which is one of my favorite albums. It's a deep album. I love to take journey in my poems. I like to move. I don't like to be still or static. So you can picture or listen to Jimmy Cliff Bongo Man come in your headspace while I do it. Walking the middle of a long, long hill and gully road. Pockets empty, hungry, I walk in a me like ghosts in a cemetery. Welcome to the land of fantasy. Down below, halfway up a tree, Mr. G on JB Blind, grooving in your mind. Dennis the Menace Revolution. Out in the streets, murder, 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 gunman, jugsman, policeman, politician, musician, businessman. The running get vicious on ya. Afraid to take a step, I start to fish and pull the catch to the window of my mind. And it's me. You say it goes with themselves, then how come you not help we? I don't suffer when I suffer. I don't try when I try, but we don't get no blind. We talk through the mic and we get a fight. We act the saga and we biting bullets on ya. I keep on walking. And I meet up fire. In eyes wide like Nebuchadnezzar. Him say we're going too fast. We're moving too fast. We're traveling too fast. The system ever crashed. It says long time I tell the man, stop rape the land. I tell man, respect woman. I tell them equal rights and justice. End the partisan politics. I tell them Russia is Russia. America is America. Jamaica is a lamb to the slaughter, just like poor Africa. Unite, make we build Anya. Unite, make we build Anya. And say, aya, them God criminals. Them Jewish funerals who left get a fight. But it's just start. Only for blood that can run the yard. Only for body that can permanent abroad. Every time I go a funeral that you in the USA, I feel it. Only for body that can permanent abroad. But him said the man must have faith. The man must have faith. Look, none can stop the rain from fall. None can stop the sun from shine. Rise up, stop ball. Action. You hear that? Action. Thank you so much. So, now, we're going to engage in conversation. And, So, Xavier is gonna marshal it. And,
So we're in the Q&A period, and so we're going to have questions, 10 questions from the audience for Malachi about the book and so on. I'll start off because I'm very curious. You started on the second book already, don't you?
Well, put it this way. I have maybe about 1,000 or more written poems waiting to be published, include like 5 collections that are ready, edited and ready. Yes.
I asked that question because the African trip seemed to have inspired some new poems, and so I'm expecting that book to be out pretty soon.
Yes. Definitely, I am going to write out the process. It had me, I asked a question, and somebody said, I said, how did we survive? No, think about it, right? Just think about it for a second. You are marched from as far as 1,400 miles. Through mountains, listen to me, through mountains, right? And you march to this river, you take your bath, right? And some people, some enslaved people, what they actually did to avoid, say, being eaten by lions and other wild animals, they would actually, sacrifice, I want to say, a few of our ancestors. They would cut them up and tie them on trees to detract the animals so they could move the caravans along, right? You survive all of that. And then you go to that river, you take your bath, and then they march you again through the hills to the castles, right? And they lock you up inside there, right? If the men try to escape and they caught them, they basically break their bones and they lock them in the dungeon until they die, and then they throw their bodies in the sea. The women, they'll let them stay out in the sun and stand on the cannonballs, right? So I think about all that and I said, how we survive? How did we really survive? It blows your mind just to think about it. Simple, just think about it. So definitely, I'm going to be writing out the whole journey.
All right, we're going to come back to this book. It's available in the back. It's $20. I'm expecting them to walk out with an empty box by the time we end the night. So please, Venmo, Cash App, Cash,
and not only that, it has some beautiful pictures. I took most of the pictures. Some were taken by Judith Faroon Reed and one by one of my nephews. But this is like Rocky Point. Every year, the Jamaica Ex-Police Association of South Florida, which I'm a proud member and past president, we go down to Jamaica and do a charity project. And I happened to be at the beach down there, and this was at Little Ochi. And I just started snapping away, and I ended up with some incredible pictures. But there are some beautiful pictures here from Jamaica and other places that I've been. So it makes an awesome holiday gift. So Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all of them things there, you cannot beat this. All right?
All right, if you could raise your hand if you have a question, I'll come out to you.
I've known Malachi for over 40 years, but I can't recall asking this question. Because when I met Malachi, I was already a police officer, but I also knew that he was sneaking away in the evening going to drama class, and I was wondering why he was doing that. But Malachi, the question to you, at what stage did you feel a talent in you that you could do poetry? Because being a police officer, did you have an indication before that to do poetry before you became a police officer?
Definitely. So my grandmother had a branch of the Assemblies of God Church in our yard, right? And whenever they had concerts, I would do my recitation and I would mash up the place. So I had it in me to perform. And whenever we had school concert, I was the MC and I was just bad, you know. So I knew of the fire, and I strongly believe that I have my mother's heart, which is very strong, very intense, you know. So yes, I knew I could.
All right. Anyone else?
Yes, Malachi. By the way, first of all, I'm a poet, and Malachi's bit have inspired me since I was since I was a little boy, and that's the reason I'm telling you this backstory, because I'm asking you a question now. That last poem you did, what was the name of the last poem?
One way.
The reason I ask you that, because in that poem you have a phrase said, murder, 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 murder.
Yeah.
Now I've never heard that poem before.
Right.
Never. But I have it, that phrase in one of my poems.
Yes.
And I'm trying to figure out now, wait now. Is that a common Jamaican phrase back then that I don't pick up? Or is something else?
So my colleague is asking a valid question. The part of the poem was inspired by, I was a detective out there, and I was coming from testifying at the Supreme Court, downtown Kingston, and I ran into Uncle Nura, who is the person who coined the term dog poetry, right? The father of dog poetry. And we had a conversation. When you notice in the poem, I said, I meet up fire and eyes and wild like Nebuchadnezzar. And we're talking about all of the happenings in Jamaica. And it was readily apparent. Jamaica was in the middle of a civil war. We had Russia on one side via Cuba, and we had the Americans on the other side, right? So the people were basically trapped in the middle, and there are other people nodding their head, because I know David was in a bus one night and gunman held it up from one of the party and wanted to kill everybody in there. So it was real, right? So in that time, you know, when you think about it, you could say the police was murdering people, the pastor is murdering people, the politician is murdering people. It had become like a common assault, if you want to put it that way. You know, family was turning against family. One of my cousins brought a gang to burn down my grandmother's house. I think it was a living. So it gives you an idea at the time of period. So that's how that came about.
All right. We have a question here.
I would just like to acknowledge the presence of Commissioner Eddie Edwards. Can you stand so I'm recognized? Yeah.
Sounds great. Can we give Malachi a big round of applause, please? A part of when we have these lecture series is to get to know each other a little better. So as you ask your question, just say one little thing about yourself, all right? I'm doing that for a reason. We must network, we must support each other in whatever businesses that we have or initiatives, okay? So I see a gentleman who looks very familiar at the back about to ask a question. Let me see how he'll introduce himself.
So I was going to say he's the man that clothed Malachi today, because that reggae shirt he has on. This is
Yes. Wherever I go in the world, he clothes me. Give it up for Yard abroad.
Thank you very much, man. That poem you just did,
Yes.
blew me away.
Yes.
And you know, your mentee, as he alluded to it, that he had a piece with the same title. But I want to go back to the poem itself. You mentioned Oku Onora
Yes.
as the father of dub poetry. I remember Oku when he just came out of the prison. He was at the General Penitentiary, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And he launched his first book, Echo, at the library. But to the piece you just perform. Have you a multitude of poems that were essentially produced by that period? Because that is one of the most seminal period in the development of Jamaica's history. And if you haven't, I'm going to challenge you to write that.
Well, I should tell you this much, that I did some serious writing during that period, because my group Poets in Unity then was performing and Sting and all the major shows. You know, so we're doing some serious work. And this is kind of interesting that you mentioned that. I remember having a conversation with this law clerk, and she was saying that her boss said one of the things that he didn't like about the poets were that they were just stating things but not advocating a position to solve things. So I, with my bad self, wrote this poem named March, right? And you're not gonna believe this. So I was invited to Michael College to perform. I walked inside and I heard some young intellectual involved in a very interesting conversation. And they were talking about people should not compromise and this and that. This was from then. And you know, I look at them and say, sometimes you can compromise without giving away your dignity, but in order to move the goalposts forward. And they asked, and I look at me like, where the figure income come from? You know? So when I went on stage, and this was somewhere with an event where you had like left, center left, further left, radicals, right? They were just brimming. So when I went on stage, I said, I don't care who built the first nuclear bomb or who have the most, I think like that. I just believe that, you know, at this day and age, that country should be invested more in their citizens, in human beings, than spending all this money on building these weapons. And I dipped in this bad poem named March, right? Never forget. Listen to this. So I finished the poem and everybody's standing and screaming, right? Clapping down the place. And I get very intense when I'm performing, when I'm really performing, no joke. So I got off stage and this white man runs up to me and he said, damn, you are great. You are great. I want everything you ever perform. And I said, please, just give me a minute. I need to cool down. And I'm fanning myself. And he squeezed his card in my hand, right? This is it. So once he moved, one of the senior elder Rastafarian musicians in Jamaica, who is now deceased, came up to me and he said, what do you want, Malachi? And he said, he wants everything that I've ever written. And he said, don't give him any. He's the head of the CIA in Jamaica. I'll never forget it because it's so interesting. It's very interesting because he ended up marrying like one of the most beautiful Jamaican girls who was a very close friend of mine. Kawal went to Edna Manley, you know. So I used to write some serious poems during that time. And not only say radical poems, but also write a lot of love poems, which a lot of people don't know. As I say, I'm mischievous. I love love. I love to experiment. I love to find love. I always want to know what love is. Like, sometimes I look at a girl and I say, well, I feel like I never sleep in a dimple or something like that. Yeah? I'm just mischievous. Yeah, follow me, Doc.
All right, we're going to keep it PG here. So if you're keeping score, all the questions seem to be coming from this side. I don't know what happened to the folks over there. Shouldn't look into, you know, rush off, but all the questions seem to be coming from this side. So I have one more here, and then I'm expecting to see some hands on that side.
Well, I was really into the mischievous stuff, so, Okay, hi you guys, my name is Zoe Chinloy. I am now an author as of recently. I wrote a children's book called J is for Jamaica. I'm a Jamaican-born girly, but most people know me from my father, Herman Chinloy, who owned Aquarius Records in Halfway Tree. So my question for you is, what was your biggest inspiration or what is your biggest inspiration in writing poetry?
Beautiful question. Right? Beautiful question. It's almost like the opening batsman go up and face a wicked pace bowler. So I am the type of poet that I tend to get turned on by beautiful eyes, right? So I could be at a party and I'm dancing with someone and she has great eyes and I just go away and I just write a wicked poem. So that used to be one of my, yeah. Nowadays, it could be anything. I'm alive. I'm responsive to stimuli all around me. So whether it be suffering, whether it be a flower that I see growing and I can stop and touch it and actually take a picture, I carry it home and give it to sweetie and stuff like that, So I'm alive. I respond to stimuli around me in real time. But I love eyes, they turn me on.
All right, we'll have one from that side. It's ironic that you mentioned your dad. I just gave your dad's number to someone on Sunday. And that's just crazy that you should. All right, question here.
Hi Malachi, my name is Christopher. I'm an author and a creative writing coach. And I wanted to thank you for sharing your art with us. And I've just been pondering recently the immense power of creative writing. And I felt so inspired when you shared your last poem with us. And I was just curious, what do you think, if you had to sum up one thing, is the most powerful thing about creative writing or poetry in particular?
So I would like to answer it this way. Is in a stadium performing a poem and seeing thousands of people going crazy, right? That gives you an idea of what the poet is capable of doing. I happen to be in Colombia and performing in Itagüí, and in the middle of this poem, a beautiful love poem, we think of a giggle. A female bursts in tears and she rushed the stairs. I'm not a singer, I'm a poet, So moments like those kind of brings it home when you know that the poem, has done what it is supposed to do. I remember being at work on my first job, the second job when I came to the state, and a female walked up to me and she said, she was in tears. She looked at me and she just started bawling and she said, "Why are you working? You should be reading all over the world. I heard you at UM. And oh my God, you're so good." That brings it home. You know that your work had been validated, and so, as some poets would say, you keep on digging for that gold that is deep in your skull. And I like to say you take an ice pick, and sometimes you have to dig out the poem, but you have to really work at it, and you don't just settle for the first easy rhyme or line that comes, but you did the work and bring it home when they get validated like that.
Basil Bernard with the Office of Interiors, with the Office of
Yeah.
I've always wondered with the temperament of the Jamaican people, how come there has never been an all-out revolution from an artist's point of view?
An all-out revolution from
an artist's point of view, in that I've seen the haves and have-not,
right,
the inequality,
right,
and you would have thought that with the personality of Jamaican people, you would have a revolution, like with Trevor.
Well, you would have known that they always say that the most liberated people in Jamaica are the artists, right? Politics is complex, right? The whole science of politics is very complex, right? And I think one of our weaknesses in a country like Jamaica is that we tend to trivialize it, right? But I would like to see say if you're talking of a revolution, is somebody who takes a pragmatic approach and look at what you have in front of you, your resources, what the needs of your people are, and forget about yourself and building big homes and having 1 million bank account. Not that. Look at the country and the people in real time, and you come up with creative programs to address the needs of the people. Now, most leaders fall short there, because once they get in office, the power go to their head, and all them can think about is getting rich. So few people, and I would like to think that if I were to ever find myself in an office, that is how I'd approach it. I'd be very pragmatic. I look at what I have in front of me, the resources that I have, look at the needs of my people, and I balance it. And I want to encourage our people more than anything else. If you have any kids, or those of you who have young children, encourage them to go in engineering. We need as people to start building things. We need to stop just being consumers and just buying and showing off in front of us, right? We need more engineers, straight up. We need to start building things to move our people forward. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Marlon Smith. So I got a different kind of point. So, what do you think about the word revolution compared to evolution? Do you think it was a purposeful move by the CIA to make this thing such an endemic thing in our conscience? Or is it just something that we naturally like doing, repeating things? What do you think?
I don't like the word revolution, period, because it means going around in circle, you're not reaching anywhere, right? I prefer the word action, right? And that's what I mentioned, being pragmatic. As far as evolution goes, we have to think outside the box. Science is science. There are things that you can verify empirically. So I don't have to second guess. I have my ears, my eyes, I can touch, can feel it. And there are things that have been validated over a period of time. So I hope that answers it. Thank you. David has a question.
Right, so I saw this hand first, and then I'll come to this hand over here.
Good evening, everyone. Claudia DePass, President of Kiwanis Club of Greater Sunrise.
Clap for man, they do some great work. Yeah.
Thanks, Malachi. I'm interested to find that church in Davie, because I got grandkids. And I need the address so I can even bring them there or take pictures. Can you provide us with that?
I will definitely reach out to someone who would know the address and tell you. I know it was a church of God. Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because our kids have to know where we're coming from.
Right. I mean, when you look at the book, you'll see it, but when you actually go there and physically see the ropes, and in some
that they need to see for themselves.
Yes.
And I have to expose them to that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have 2 more questions, and then we're gonna wrap and do some book signing.
In regards to the gentleman who talk about revolution, most people don't know how close Jamaica came to all-out war. I was supposed to go to Russia to study international law with the 4th party. Most people don't know that there was a 4th party. But my girlfriend got pregnant and that changed everything, so that's why I'm still here. Anyway, my question is, I think the Caribbean people need to look at themselves and understand why God brought us to America. Because the American blacks, or African American, whatever you want to call them, they are still under, as Bob Marley said, 500 years or 400 years are still not free. Because if you put a noose, show a noose to an African American, they get emotional and stuff like that. We don't know what they went through because we went through slavery, but they went through Jim Crow, which was much worse.
150 years and 85 years of lynching.
Exactly. And Muhammad Ali, I saw a video with Muhammad Ali talking about the cutting pregnant women's babies out their stomach and cutting off, lynching our people, black people, and putting their genitals in their mouths and all kind of, so they are still enslaved. That's why the election that just passed, the gentleman who won, he used psychology against us. That's it. Because I met the president. Let me share why. Because when I was working in Boca, a co-worker of mine was being harassed by a white supervisor. So one day, he's from Jamaica. So I asked him what's going on. He said the supervisor harassing him. So I said, and he said that some friends of his came from Jamaica. They were cooling out that time before 9/11, so they could travel. And guess what? They were planning to come up to Boca to take care of the supervisor. I said, no, let me deal with it. So I deal with it, and the manager took us to a motivational speaking event with the president, and Tiger Woods and father and all the people. And they use psychology, they teach us how to use psychology to manipulate people. So it's all psychology.
Question.
No, that's what I'm saying. We need,
I understand.
The Caribbean black Americans need to stop looking down on American black people. You understand? Because we do that.
Yeah.
We don't even know, but we do it. And that's wrong.
By the way, I just want to echo something Malachi said about being pragmatic. And one pragmatic thing we can do, we have a lot of experts in the community. We have first national hero, Marcus Mazaga, let us teach it to our kids. Very pragmatic way of having practical teaching in the community that achieves a lot. So we're going to wrap up, 2 more? All right. And then we're going to wrap up. And listen, I must allow Marie Gilton to say a few words of the event, very important, and then we're going to wrap up.
But before you ask the question, I'd just like to say that there's a wonderful book, Claude Brown's Man-Child in the Promised Land. And all Caribbean nationals who are here should read that book. They get a greater understanding of your African American brothers and sisters. It's a powerful book. Claude Brown's Man-Child in the Promised Land. All right? Thank you.
It's good to see you, Malachi, and everybody here. I'd like to see the audience here. My name is Howard Clark. I'm a retired architect and planner.
Right.
And I'm happy that Malachi brought up something. I want to create that nexus between the young people and old guys like me and you. And when he said that, urban planner and architect, I like some of the work that you're doing, but I want to see that nexus where we talk about today, what is going on today, and the 70s and so forth. And I know you have something coming.
Right.
I have a book coming out too, but it's more about housing in Jamaica, doing the part of making and breaking of the suburban community. And I talk about how the housing development of what occurred with the housing development in Jamaica. A very unique book. Malachi and myself talked about it years ago. We met.
Yes.
So forth. Yeah. So the next source is that I'm happy that we're writing. I want to see all of us do more writing than talking. So
what's the name of the book?
It's Duane Park, the making and breaking of a suburban community. And it's very unique because it tells how how the housing development actually started. You know, there was the hurricane 1951, then Hurricane Charlie. And after Hurricane Charlie, they built Mona Heights. After they built Mona Heights, they built Harbor View. And then they built Granny Park. And that was the whole the catalyst for creating housing development. They were only building schemes, but they just started building UN and all those places. So my book is talking about, you know, who were the architects, who were the builders that rested this home company, Riemann, and so forth, because we need to write it. And I talk about the politics too. I thought your head off.
Thank you so much.
I think you'll be a candidate for the Consul General Lecture Series coming up. I think it's a good point. I use this term all the time. And
I think there's one other question.
Yeah, there's one question. I want to get to it, but there's a term I always use. It's an African quote that says, until the lion tells his side of the story, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. We each have a story to tell. Yes. We must continue to tell it.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Monica Dawkins. I'm a retiree. Enjoying this, and Malachi, I always admire your work of art. And I was hoping that you would do a piece with the music in the background like you usually do. Yeah. And also, what does rototom mean?
Well, on Saturday you can come to Marie's event and I'll do something with music for you.
All right, the book, you ain't talk.
Yeah.
We're there to sell books today.
Yeah, we're gonna sell books.
All right, we're there to sell books today.
So, if
you didn't hear before, if you did not hear before, there's a box of books in the back. The books are $20 a piece. I'm expecting everyone who stayed here, who is still here, to go back there and get a book. And Malachi has agreed to sign your book. So once you go get your book, we're not finished yet. We're not finished yet. Mr. Consul General have something to close out. But once you have gotten your book, please bring your book and your pen, and Malachi, you'll get his autograph.
All right? I just want to put in one thing.
One thing, I'm gonna go. Just remember, in November, here Island Space has a lot of events that happen, and I was just alerted, the Rum Cake and Caribbean Festival that is going to be in November. My duties are finished. I'm going to leave it to the CG.
All right. A part of this program, when we do the mountain series as well, is to hear about so many events taking place in the community. We do post that on our social media pages, but we give persons a quick chance to just mention it so we can support the events coming up. I especially wanted Mary Gill, President of the Jamaica USA Chamber of Commerce, in 30 seconds to say something about the big event she has coming. If third, we're gonna do it third because people come, Mary, I'm gonna time it, but just received national awards. Let's give her a round of applause, Mary Gill, last year or 2 years ago. Right? Mary, before you say anything, I want to again recognize Sean Roberts. He's our sponsor. For all our lecture series, all the refreshments provided by Cocktails. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. CG. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you. Malachi. Oh. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so the Jamaica USA, I'm the proud president of the Jamaica USA Chamber of Commerce, founding president for the past 22 years. So volunteer, no salary, but working hard to, when the chamber was formed, there was no organization that represented the Jamaican business community. So we were all about that, and we still are. All right, so the 22nd anniversary celebration of the Chamber will take place on August 30th. It's a Saturday evening from 7 p.m. until Sunday. we will be having a few presentations from some of our sponsors: Jamaica Stock Exchange, Jampro, JN Money, Victoria Mutual, and so forth. However, the most important occurrence on that night will be the Jamaican Milestone Awards, which will be given to 5 nominees who've been selected and will be awarded: Dr. Alan Cunningham, Mayor Dennis Grant, Lauderhill, I'm still laughing, Commissioner Eddie Edwards, Mr. Xavier Murphy. I think I'm still missing one. Who am I missing?
Surprise.
Okay, the next one is a surprise. No. All right, so it will take place on the 30th, Saturday evening, and tickets are $100. It's an event that will have music, dancing, networking, dinner, performances by Malachi, the Jamaican Folk Review, and the Talawa Mentor Band. So it's a really grand event. Dress up event, dance and have fun. All right. And also, we will continue the celebration with a Sunday worship service at Holy Family Episcopal Church in Miami Gardens at 9 o'clock. And then in the afternoon, well, from 11 to 3, we'll have a networking and refreshments and music and dance off and Jamaican trivia. So please come out and celebrate with us. Marie at mgillonline.com. Marie at mgillonline.com is my email. 305-546-6225. Please attend, celebrate. Consul General will be there, of course. And thank you all very much. And Xavier, love you, man.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Louis Bennett Heritage Council proudly presents Styling 2025, right? Through roads, through culture, right? There's going to be a fashion show, arts and culture featuring Hope Wade Designs. And she's a New York-based multi-award winning Jamaican fashion designer. She used to be in Ports in Unity back in the day. Bad Gal, Brookings, culture clothes. And of course, we have a live band with Eugene Gray with vocalist Yishka, Talawa Mentor Band, the Jamaica Folk Review MCs, Suzette Spears, Judy Ann Gray, and Sir Rockwell, right? And it's going to be Saturday, September 20th and Sunday, September 21st, 7 p.m. and 4 p.m. respectfully. And you can go on the website louisbennettheritage.com for further information. Thank you. And I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for really coming out this evening and support the launch of this wonderful book.
Well,
and make sure...
Make we do the thank you. Make we do the thank you. Stand right up here, my brother. This gentleman here, Malachi Smith, has been one of the most faithful, loyal, committed members of the Jamaican community who's always served us. And today, sir, we salute you. We thank you for all you do. And I'm going to ask you to stand and let's give Malachi a big round of applause for all his hard work and his excellent performance this evening. Malachi, we love you. Hip hip.
Thank you.
Hip hip.
I'm in the back signing so you can get your autograph.
Well, on the offering lady come in. All right.
Before you do that, please, before you go anywhere, remember I said at the beginning that I'm going to ask you for a donation. I'm also asking you for the membership. Thank you so much. I'm also asking you for membership. Please go to islandspacefl.org/membership. If you can do the donation right now, you will see our cultural tithe being passed around. It's a basket. Please drop what you can in the basket. Thank you so much. God bless you, my friend. God bless you. God bless you. Yeah, man. All right. Thank you very much. I like 20s and 50s and 100s, but I'll take the 1s and the 5s and the 10s as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. membership today, tonight, before you leave, when you go home. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. And I want to just share with you as well that Island Space turns 5 years old this year. We are also having our gala. We're also having our gala on October 26th at Marriott Harbor Beach.
Thank you all for coming. Please ensure you purchase a book. This happens once a month. Malachi will be at the back. I want to thank all our young people for coming out. Please sign the books and join us next month for another insightful lecture series. Thank you all.
Marilyn, let's send a text to my guy. Come, go with that. We'll go on the
Give me 1 second.
How you doing, sir? Good.
Oh, yes, excellent. Yes, 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 yes. When I first saw it, my agenda. Just a quick announcement. Malachi is having a fish fry fundraiser at his home. Please see him for details on the fish fry that he's having this weekend on Saturday at his home. Thank you. So the address for the fish fry on Saturday is 820 Northwest 186 Drive, Miami Gardens. That's 820 Northwest 186 Drive, Miami Gardens, 33169.